Hello and welcome to this SINC Executive Insights. I'm Jason Senor, Chief Product Officer here at SINC, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Pierre-Martin Tardif, the Director of Information Security at the University of Sherbrooke. Hello, Pierre-Martin.
Hello.
Thank you very much for joining me today.
My pleasure.
Pierre-Martin is also an active member of our SINC Executive Council representing the Montreal Region, and will be participating in the upcoming Montreal IT and Security Leaders Forum. We're here today to talk about the alignment of IT security and business, a topic that we will be discussing at the forum itself, and which Pierre-Martin will be moderating the conversation on. Pierre-Martin, the alignment of IT security in the business continues to be a challenge, right? Businesses obviously have high expectations of their investments when it comes to technology. New technologies obviously need to reduce costs, increase security, enhance productivity, improve workflows, communications, etc., etc., etc. But obviously, despite the major role that technology plays in the overall strategy of an organization these days, the relationship between those three pillars of information technology, information security, and the business itself continues to remain a challenge for many. So would love to just dive right into this and ask, why do you think that is the case?
Yeah, so it's usually it's something that is not easy to achieve, you know, because first you need to be aware of what the strategy is. The second thing, you need to understand your environment, and usually it's not easy because things change so rapidly in our world. And you know, even with the upper management of your organization, they have so many issues to solve and so many strategies to have their hands on, and yes, sometimes you're only a part or a small part of their concerns. So you need to play with that to be able to, I should say, forge something that is worthwhile. Like you told me, Jason, you need to be aware of the cost of things. And it's always an equilibrium between what you can do, what people will understand, and usability, and making your organization leaping forward.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, a very interesting perspective there. And what I'm interested to learn more about as well is the emergence of security, right? Over the last couple of years, the conversation has been more geared towards the alignment of IT in the business. But now with security playing this role, obviously, a lot more focus in that space, and that's an area of your expertise. So talk to me about how security is starting to now become, I suppose, a key component of this alignment.
Yeah, it's coming from everywhere. We can think about, you know, even software development. Before it was agility, DevOps, and now it's DevSecOps. You can look same thing with the investments. Now people are focusing on how do we get there, but using the right security tools or techniques. And I think that came, and that's the sad part of it. But part of it came because of the, let's say, the last 10 years events. In the beginning, I think people thought, oh, it's just something like that. It just happened. And then when you hear more and more about having ransomwares everywhere, having data leakage and stuff like that, then you think, hey, finally, I could be affected. Or maybe even I'm not aware of it. And then people, for at least the last 2 years, are taking that very seriously. And I think it should stay like that for a while. You just think about what will happen with the encryption. I think things will evolve when we're going to have a real quantum computers that are maybe commercially available. We have no choice of moving on. Then we need today to think about the future, and the commercial future, the country's future, and it goes through cybersecurity. Even you've got the US Army having their own division for cybersecurity. It's like, it's not just about commercial, it's even nations. So it changed, but it grew up, I should say, slowly, but surely to what we know today.
Interesting. Yeah. I suppose when all of a sudden scrutiny starts being placed on the organisation from a public perspective, it starts to take a lot more of a fundamental role in all of the decision making.
Yeah.
So when we look at this again, this relationship between the business, information technology, et cetera, arguments in the past were about bringing the C-level executives from the technology space into the boardroom, CIOs first and foremost. So would you say that in order to start creating true alignment between those departments, it begins with having both CIO and CISO in the boardroom, or is it a case of just the CIO and the CISO having a unified front in order to present that to the business? I mean, what would you say would be I suppose, the best way to start tackling these challenges and creating that alignment more effectively?
You're having, I think, at least part of the solution, but the best thing to do is a dialogue. And how do you dialogue with someone? Then you need to meet that person. If you only do that, let's say using emails or advertisements, you will miss most of it. It needs to be a one-to-one relationship. You need to feel what's going on in your business. So part of it's at least to participate at the executive level with other executives to hear what their concerns are, put some stories there to explain why we're going in that direction, and to talk with your board. Then you need to be mature enough, because then it's a very short sequence in time, and you need to talk to them, and you need to present, I should say, important stuff. Then you need to understand what's going on in the business and your own business of cybersecurity. And I think when you're there, the alignment goes by itself. You don't need to think about it every day, but you need to put some things in place. And I think one of the key components is having an open dialogue, and that it depends on organizations. And I think mainly it comes by having meetings with people, important people, key people in your organization. Usually it happens with the top level, sometimes with the board, other time with, let's say, the marketing people. It depends.
Right. Communication is key.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So obviously, as I mentioned, we're going to be tackling this topic at the Montreal Forum in a bit more of a collaborative nature in the form of the roundtable discussion, which obviously you will be leading. So for the folks that are going to be coming to the events and participating in that session, what do you want them to be able to take away from that discussion, especially those who are still really having a lot of challenges around this particular area?
Usually when you have a lot of challenges, you need to hear about what's happening with the other people, because sometimes your key challenge has been solved maybe 1 year, 3 years ago by another organization, or even sometimes it's another organization who has the same challenge, and then maybe you can have contact with them, and even further after the conference, and being able to exchange with these people, they can even help you to find where you can add value to what's going on. And I think that's, I was talking about the dialogue between you and your organizations, but also with other organizations who have the feedback, some cue about how they're doing stuff.
Fantastic. And you yourself, as I mentioned, you're a member of our executive council, have been played an active role in actually creating the content for the agenda itself for the forum. Outside of your role as a speaker at the event, what are you also looking forward to in terms of participation?
It's the same thing as the value that a participant can have. It's the same thing for me. Usually you go to that kind of event to learn from other people. So even if you, let's say, manage the meeting, you have people talking about their concerns, you listen to that, and you need to get the key elements of the discussion, and then it project yourself to sometimes to some perspective that you were not aware of, or you didn't find as important as it is really. And then you put everything together, you do your you rehearse everything with the room, and then you have more feedback. You even find out if it's relevant what you present to the people, and I think that this is important. It helps you also when you come back to your own company, to your own organization, when you talk with your C-level people, because you have different perspective. You're refreshed.
Brilliant. Well, we're very much looking forward to your participation as always. Thank you so much for your time and your insight today. Sure to be a great conference, sure to be a great discussion on this particular topic. Sure. Or for those of you who are interested in attending, please feel free to check out the forum landing page on the SINC website. Thank you very much for joining me today.
You're welcome. See you soon.